Raphaël Melançon in for Jim Meny today. Raphaël Melançon, political analyst here at CJAD and, of course, at CTV Montreal as well, and a columnist at the Gazette. So we're just chatting. I said we're going to talk about one thing I have not even mentioned so far today, but it bears mentioning, and that is the debate of first of two, I guess,
yes,
between Bernard Drinville and Christine Frechette that took place over the weekend. Both, of course, are vying for the leadership of the CAQ and eventually to become premier for 20 minutes. So I would ask... I've heard little snippets of it. I saw a bunch of French analysts talking about this. Right. I won't tell you what I got from it. Was there a winner here? Was there a knockout? What did you see?
Okay, here's the deal. I'm going to say there was no clear winner, but a slight advantage for Drinville. But in that sense, it's a win for Frechette. Because Drinville, if he wanted to turn things around, he's so way behind Frechette right now in the polls in support with CQ members that he needed a knockout to stand a chance at turning things around and maybe seeing the wind turn in favor of his team so that he can pull a win on April the 12th. That did not happen this weekend. So in that sense, it's a slight advantage for Drinville, I would say, after the first debate. We're going to wait and see the second debate, which is going to happen in Laval. But to me right now, Frechette is still way ahead of Drinville. I don't see anyone, like any major movement in terms of, is the needle going to move in favor of a majority of votes going to Drinville at the moment? Not necessarily. But still, Drinville showed that he was a seasoned politician. He's a great debater. And clearly here, he had the advantage. A few good proposals also, I would say. He presented his ideas. He did not go too far. You know, sometimes Drinville can be quite abrasive. His style can play against him. That did not happen this weekend. And on the other side, it was the first time we could see finally Christine Frechette in a setting where she's debating and presenting her ideas and having to defend her track record. And on that aspect as well, I would say she defended herself better than I expected, to be honest with you.
It's funny. So I wasn't going to tell you what I'd seen over the weekend, and all the various analysts weighing in. They said the same thing. They think Bernard Drinville won this debate. Again, not a knockout. Mm-hmm. You're kind of implying, he needed a home run. All he got was a single or double. But
at best,
for them to say, and pretty much across the board, I saw Jean-François Lisée talking about this. They thought he did very, very well. And it's funny, you're saying he needed something bigger than that. I wonder if that's not a good first step for him, for people to say, hey, this race is not over. I like what I heard from Bernard Drinville.
Right, but the question is it too little too late? Because let's not forget the vote is happening in just a couple of weeks. So we're really getting towards the end of that race. And I think had that debate happened a month earlier, maybe it could have been the beginning of something of a change for Drinville.
But there's one to
campaign. Go. There's still one to go, and he's going to need really a knockout this time around when they debate in Laval. And you know what? Just an anecdote here, but they were debating in an old church. For the party that is all about secularism, debating in an old church. Imagine the image you're projecting as a party. And I think we have to talk about, on top of ideas, it was about, Frechette had a few good lines here to attack Drinville. She attacked his ego. She attacked the fact that he's not listening on the Third Link project. And you know what, Aaron? I'm kind of tired of hearing about the Third Link all the time. I'm tired that a very local issue
has become
is
such a big
always
deal.
Taking all the space, whereas we have so many things that we could be discussing at the moment in this province, and we're always talking about the Third Link project, which in my point of view is never going to happen anyway.
It's funny that you said that she had personal attacks. There's a clip of Bernard Drinville saying, of all people, and I would have expected this would go the other way, of him saying, there's really no room for personal attacks, no need for this in this debate.
Well,
and I thought that was great, because I would have expected, again, for him to be the one. He's not the front runner. Right. She is. For him to attack her, it didn't happen.
Well, she had to show on one end that she had teeth, that she could pull teeth sometimes and be more abrasive, because she seemed a bit too much square sometimes in public. Whereas on the other side, he had to show that he could contain his emotions. He could contain himself. So I think for both of them, the objectives have been met. They were both very well prepared. They scored points on both sides. I would say say Drainville did a good job at not falling into the trap of being too abrasive and attacking her personally. She had to show also that she could be a good debater, because let's not forget that the CQ right now is looking for a leader that's going to lead them into the next election, and she will be facing in national debates very seasoned politicians like Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon. So she needs also to prove the members of her party that she can do a good job in a national debate.
So we move on from that, and let's talk about a couple of things really quickly. First of all, the Conservatives provincially will finally have a member in the National Assembly. An independent will be sitting. Is that a big deal for Éric Duhem?
It will be, well, yes, it will be announced, confirmed tomorrow. We don't know yet who it is. According to TVA Nouvelle, it should be Maïté Blanchette-Vézina. So if we remember, last fall there was a cabinet shuffle in Quebec City. She was ousted from cabinet by François Legault. She was really frustrated by this, and the day after she said she no longer had confidence in François Legault, so she left the CQ to sit as an independent. Since then, she became much closer to Éric Duhem and the Conservative Party. So the rumors right now on the Hill in Quebec City are that Maïté Blanchette-Vézina should be confirming tomorrow that she will be joining Éric Duhem. What's the consequences or the positive? Yeah, for Duhem, it opens the door for him to have a better access to the halls of the National Assembly, so he can be there and have press conferences.
Him and his one MNA?
Him and his one MNA. So it's the same thing that happened. Remember, 4 years ago when Claire Sanson joined the Conservative Party just a few months before the 2022 election, he did the same thing with Claire Sanson. So this time, Maïté Blanchette-Vézina will be the one opening the door. So it's a critical time for the Conservatives right now. And there's some momentum right now around Éric Duhem. So for him to have that exposure and that access to media at the National Assembly just 6 months ahead of the next election, I think it's gold for him.
You know, we were out at the St. Patrick's Day parade yesterday, right? Did you notice Soraya was there? Some city people were there. Charles Milliard, I saw him. I saw Jennifer Macaron. Missed opportunity for any other provincial party to have been there?
I mean, is it something that people are going to remember in 6 months from now when they head to the polls? Are they going to be really voting on, was he there during the St. Patrick's Day parade?
Then why show up at all? Why have the Liberals show up?
Well, I think it's a good thing that they are showing up. And I think in the case, for instance, of Charles Milliard, right now he needs people to get to know him. Many people, more than 1 in 2 people in this province, more than 1 in 2 voters have absolutely no clue of who Charles Milliard is. So he has to get people to know him. For Éric Duhem, it's a different ballgame. He's been in the media for such a long time. I don't think he needs to get people to know him as much as
I'm
Charles
not even
Milliard.
thinking from people to know him. I'm thinking just, sort of, I don't know, ideology-wise, for lack of a better term. This is a provincial or provincial political party. This is the biggest event in the city in terms of a parade. Show your face, just show up. So
it would have been much better if he could come, if he could attend the parade. That's sure, but I don't think it would really have made a huge difference in terms of votes and most of all seats in the National Assembly in the next election.
I would have liked to see PSPP out there too. I think that would have been fun. No, really,
maybe not a good idea.
The snow was too soft to make snowballs anyway. Okay, I want you to hear one clip. We were discussing this just before we started here, and we have a very different opinion. So Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon was doing an interview, and I played this earlier in the show, and I said, I would not have believed someone would have said something like this, because this seems to me just kind of, unnecessary and actually sort of damaging in a way. So if I can set this up, he's talking to, and I don't know the gentleman's name on the French side, he's doing an interview, and the subject comes up in a sovereign Quebec. People who work, say, for the federal government, this guy's working in Gatineau for the federal government, and asking what will happen. So let me play the clip and then tell me what you think of this, okay, Brian?
Il y en a parmi vous qui apprendront que votre emploi ne peut pas être continué dans un Québec indépendant.
Toi de Gatineau. J'habite à Gatineau, mais je travaille dans la fonction publique fédérale. Quel est votre plan pour moi et tous les autres dans ma situation dans l'éventualité d'un Québec souverain?
Au moment du référendum, la personne en Outaouais va savoir exactement dans quel ministère on va faire des coupes. Puis je vais être très, très clair, il y aura des coupes.
Vous savez que vous perdez des votes en disant ça, là, en ce moment, vous perdez des votes à Gatineau.
Je réponds aux gens de Gatineau, ce que j'ai à vous dire, c'est ça qui est ça. Et c'est dans l'intérêt du Québec, et vous êtes Québécois et Québécoises. Il y en a parmi vous qui apprendront que votre emploi ne peut pas être continué dans un Québec indépendant.
See, those jobs, if I become premier and we have a referendum and it's a sovereign, sorry, your job's done. I don't care where you live, Gatineau or wherever else. If you work for the federal government, see you later.
Well, first of all, it's Sébastien Bovet from Radio-Canada that's asking the question, and it's a longer clip. It's interesting also to listen to the whole clip. This clip that we just heard was edited by the Liberal Party, so they just took the bits.
Okay, well, hold on. Let's not get into a conspiracy here that this editing doesn't talk about what he actually said. He said, that is the truth, isn't it? That he said, if there is a sovereign Quebec, you will not have a job working if you work for the federal government in Gatineau, for example. And then he said, because some ministries will have to be eliminated.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And you know what? That's what we were talking about before we went on air. I think for once we hear something that's being totally honest. Someone, a PQ leader that's being totally honest, saying, we have been for many years complaining about the fact that there's too many layers of government in this country.
Fine, I have no problem with that, but why don't you just say then, we'll get rid of some of those ministries, but the jobs that are there that are held by Quebecers, we'll find somewhere else to put them. Why would you just simply say you're going to lose your job? What kind of a dumb thing is that to say?
Well, then what we're going to say is basically, we don't need you because we already have people filling out our ministries, but we will give you fake jobs so you can keep your jobs and we can keep your vote.
Well, why can't we add you to the ministries we already have if there's going to be that much more work?
To me, there could be jobs in other ministries.
Fine,
that will
then say that's what we'll do.
It doesn't mean that someone that has experience in the Ministry of Natural Resources on the federal stage could be hired in an eventual Ministry of Defense.
Right. So we'll just say you're on your own. Good luck, and we don't need you in Quebec anymore.
I think it's just being honest that for once, it's not about telling people that everything will be, everything's going to be pink and all perfect in a sovereign Quebec. No, there will be job losses. And you know what? You've got the truth here. I like this. I'm sorry, but I like having a party leader that's finally being honest, saying, yes, there will be consequences to our choices. It won't be perfect in a sovereign Quebec. And that is the truth.
I'm looking for a sheet. I wish I had it here. I'm sure I'd seen it. When you talk about not promising, Paul St. Pierre Plamondon has gone on record. Right. PQ would make Quebec a rich country, according to Paul St. Pierre Plamondon, but not rich enough apparently to absorb the jobs of people who work for the federal government.
We're not going to create jobs just for people. It's not a charity.
We're going to be rich.
Government is not a charity. It's not meant to use taxpayers' dollars to keep jobs that are not.
It's not?
Well,
we have more people working for the public service in this province than any other province in the country.
This is music to my ears. I love hearing you say that, Aaron. I totally agree. We have too many public servants already, so why would we hire even more if we don't need them?
So why not just fire the ones we have?
Well, I think that's
in a sovereign Quebec.
We were talking about Drainville. Drainville wants to get rid of the permanency of public servants so that he can clean up the whole mess right now. Because under Legault, who promised so much change, that didn't happen. We didn't shrink the size of the states. We grew it. And Drainville at least has the audacity, the courage to say that has to end. Yeah. We need to clean up that mess.
That's what he's saying. Whether it gets done, that's a whole other problem. But I just think this was not a clever thing for PSPP to say. No one wants to hear that they're going to lose their job under a new government.
I agree with you that strategically speaking, it's maybe not the best move, but at least it's honest.
Not buying it. Raphaël Melançon in for Jim Ennie today. Thank you, Raph.
Unmistakably Canadian.
It's the music that raised you.
The artists raising the bar.
Hi, this is Bryan Adams.
Hey, my name's Brett Emmons. I'm from the Glorious Sons.
Hi, I'm Nelly Furtado.
Made in Canada. The station that champions Canadian music.
Loud, proud, and all yours.
No passports required. Just press play.
Tap into Made in Canada now on iHeartRadio.ca
or the free iHeartRadio app.